you wanted to be booked out when you wanted to be booked out.
That's correct.
You wanted to build all this demand, and you wanted to pick and choose your times. You wanted to reserve time for yourself.
The consistency of having content being generated for you and put there and taking that hat off and giving it to someone else to do has allowed me to focus on what I enjoy. The first thing that started my business off and did me well was Yellow Pages, okay? But keeping that constant social media presence there keeps me in the eye of people. One of my clients that's just started with me recently she said, I want a therapist who thinks outside of the box. And because of the social media posts that she's watched and followed for 3 to 6 months, she goes, that's the therapist for me.
It's not just she saw a post and responded to an ad. It's she saw you and what you did and the fact that you see people and are treating them as they should be treated.
Like, I didn't really know what social media would do for me. I didn't know whether we were going to be together for a 2-year period as we have been.
Yeah.
And, people look at me and go, do you really have to keep going, putting it out there in social media? The reason I put it out there is it's an awareness. And so it just works. And it comes through.
Yeah.
And it can be done. And it can be done on anyone's budget. The secret to social media is the consistency.
Absolutely.
Coming home has given me the availability to be as busy as I want to be.
Yeah.
What you guys have done has allowed me to have that freedom for me to make those choices.
Yeah.
Today, we are sitting with our most original client. I started working with Sandy back when I was a little baby sole trader, and I was using an old iPhone that had shaky footage and a GoPro that had so much grain in the footage in dark places. We came from a humble place, and Sandy gave us a chance. And as a result of that, we've grown.
We've grown. Business relationship has grown beyond means. There's nothing that you guys that I ask that cannot be put there. And then you put me into different fields. Oh, Sandy, we need new content. Oh, goodness bless, what are we going to do to that? And sometimes when you're doing taping, you've got to think impromptuously to make it work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's what happened last time we did footage. But it worked out well. And, that footage on that part where we were doing the paraffin wax.
The foot treatment.
The foot treatment. And I'm trying not to laugh.
That's one of your best videos.
That's one of the best videos. It's got the best shots.
Yeah.
Those types of things. So it worked really, really well. And, improvising. That was improvising, trust me.
Yeah.
I didn't know what.
People love the personality in those videos.
Yeah. It's more natural.
Humor.
It's more natural, isn't it?
Yes.
I remember when we first sat down with you, Sandy, we wanted to go over what the goals you have for your business and how we can achieve that with your social media. In fact, Nicole and I were talking about it on the way over in the car. And what I remember as a summary is you wanted to be booked out when you wanted to be booked out.
That's correct.
You wanted to build all this demand, and you wanted to pick and choose your times. You wanted to reserve time for yourself.
The reason I've been in Toowoomba and been in business for 28 years now. I've been a massage therapist over 30.
That's an incredible thing.
But when I first started, I asked somebody, ages ago, and she looked at me and she said, Sandy, you've moved 3 times before. What's the difference? And I said, I'm out of town. I'm on the outskirts of town. She goes, if people want you, they will follow. What did Ripple Marketing do for me is they put me out in an eye spot of where I could be, and that type of thing. And the consistency of, one film, one post every couple of weeks and keeping it within a budget that I can afford and, letting me pay it off. I like to pay weekly because my cash flow comes in like that, so I pay those types of things. And it's worked, and it has brought in I don't have a real slack time unless I want to have a slack time. And the worst part about it is I've got to plan my slack time. I can't just go, okay, that's a good thing. It is a good thing.
Too much demand.
No, it's a comfortable demand. And what it has by coming home and just coming back to myself, I can control that. Stayed away. I tried to do my own social media, okay? Those types of things. And we'd be good for a while and then we'd forget about it because we were busy and things like that. And then we go, oh, my God, what's happening? The consistency of just of having content being generated for you and put there and taking that hat off and giving it to someone else to do has allowed me to focus on what I enjoy, okay? Like I have someone else do my data processing. I have someone else do my bookkeeping. And they're all other businesses that come through and focus along those types of things.
Yeah.
But it allows me to focus on what I want to do. And I come back and I can focus on my client and work with what their problems are or their systems that they come into me with or along those lines. And that relationship grows and builds. And some people like what I do. Some people go, yeah, okay, she's not for me. She's too far away, whatever. That's okay. But keeping that constant social media presence there keeps me in the eye of people. And then people go, one of my clients that's just started with me recently she said, I want a therapist who thinks outside of the box. And because of the social media posts that she's watched and followed for 3 to 6 months, she goes, that's the therapist for me. I had a male last week. His wife booked the appointment for me. And he comes in, he's a bit nervous. And I said, it's okay. Look, let's just have a chat, see what's going on. And he goes, I'm ticklish. He said, you can't touch me. And I said, how ticklish are you? And I just went, how ticklish are you, mate? And he goes, that's how ticklish I am.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I used a technique called myofascial release.
Yes.
And that type of stuff. Myofascial release is where you glide across a muscle instead of actually rubbing and touching. So between myself and his skin, there was a piece of toweling.
Yes.
And that gave the medium of a slide. Okay, there was a bit of oil underneath, not much, and that just gave it a gentle slip. But working that and then asking him to move his foot or body in an isometric position, like what I mean by isometric is they're moving or straightening their leg or they're pushing their arm to the ground or moving their arm up to their head as the muscle moves underneath and I'm holding a restriction. So that's myofascial release and those types of things. He gets off the table and he goes, I didn't laugh very much. What did you do differently? And I said, I just worked with what you told me you needed to be done. And I've watched some of your other posts with other people that you've worked with. You come to them with a genuine attitude of listening to your client and giving us what we want.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really know what social media would do for me. I didn't know whether we were going to be together for a 2-year period as we have been or for a 6-month period or what I want. And, people look at me and go, do you really have to keep going, putting it out there in social media? The reason I put it out there is it's an awareness.
Absolutely.
It's not so much a brand awareness, but it's just an awareness.
Like a reminder.
That's a reminder that there's something there and someone different who may be able to help you.
I love what you said earlier about how you had a recent client that had seen your content for about 3 to 6 months. And over that time, she'd learned what you were like.
Yeah, she learned to know.
And I love that. Because it's not just she saw a post and responded to an ad. It's she saw you and what you did and the fact that you see people and are treating them as they should be treated.
Well, every professional, you guys in the media work that you do, and as I said, your awareness that keeps me in front of people, and that we don't do a great deal, but it's enough to keep an awareness. It doesn't have to be. No, it doesn't have to be.
Do you find a lot of new clients that you receive, especially in relation to your social media, kind of already know you before you know them?
They're relaxed with me when they come in. Because what you post about me is uncut. It's true, raw, genuine footage. Okay.
Yeah.
And even the stuff up with the reflex treatment that we had, that was, and I had to think impromptuously how to work. And it did work. And even though I used gelatin instead of paraffin wax, because the paraffin wax was solid and I couldn't get it to melt, the gelatin actually did work on the lady's foot.
Yeah.
It worked well. But,
improvisation.
I had to make it something that we could see easily and putting lime green. Hey, it's St. Patrick's Day today.
That's right.
But it worked, and I'm trying not to laugh. And the person there's going, oh, this feels slippery. Oh, it's good. And I'm going, stop. I'm going to lose it in a minute.
Oh, dear.
Just the natural content that comes from that. And then what amazes me with it, how you use the actual factor of AI to generate the wording the information that goes from it, and the plethora of information of what can come out. Like we've only over the whole 2 years, we've only really done 3 sessions of of real footage where recordings and stuff like that. and along those lines. So it just works and it comes through.
Yeah.
And it can be done, and it can be done on anyone's budget.
And have you found that it's not invasive for you? Like you said, it's...
No. I have, when I first started, I was watching the posts that Jack was putting up because I didn't know if I could trust implicitly with what was going on, and he'd flick them over to me and those
Trust
types
is
of
a
stuff.
relationship.
Well, it's trust is something that grows, okay, and that type of situation. Now I know, look, I'll go, I don't even know they're there. Someone will, like my husband will go like a post and then the notification comes up and says Don Forster's like this post, and then I'll go, oh shit, they put another one up, and I'll go and I'll look at it and it's there, and oh yeah, okay, I remember that one. That type of stuff from there, and it just goes and grows, and from there, as I said, but the consistency, the secret to social media is the consistency.
Absolutely.
Of following along and doing it and keeping yourself there.
And we recommend that for all of our clients, Sandy. Just hearing you say it does my heart so good, because often people go all in and they're like, oh, we'll do, 5 posts a week, and then they find, oh, I can't sustain this, or, or either monetarily or other ways.
I can remember our first conversation that come here. And he comes in, he's all big, gun-hoed and, this type of stuff. And I just looked at him and I said, if that's what you want, there's the door. I said, I cannot sustain that. I cannot afford that. This is my budget. If you can give me something that I think is reasonable within that, and you did. And we grew from that. Okay.
Absolutely.
And you were just fledgling and starting up, and then you got into GST. So that was just something that had to come onto it along those things. And, the first off, when we first started, you guys didn't even charge me for the footage. You took the treatments as payment for what we were doing. So those types of stuff. So I can't be more than thankful for that. Now, you pay for it and away you go, and you learn the benefit of what it does and how it helps you to grow.
That's it.
But I'll come back and tell you it's the consistency of following along. But you were open to listening. If you weren't there to listen to what I was saying, we wouldn't have this relationship right now.
And it has to be sustainable.
It has to be sustainable, or work goes through.
Absolutely.
Coming home has given me the availability to be as busy as I want to be. What you guys have done has allowed me to have that freedom for me to make those choices.
And you're not having to make those videos. You're not having to think about
making I don't have to think about them. I don't have to worry about it. If I had to do it, I would honestly be like, oh, it's too hard. I'll do it later.
Do you think that a lot of people in your industry, especially people who are operating as sole traders at the moment or quite smaller businesses, they kind of feel stuck with the clientele they have? It's like they need to maintain this clientele and the retainers. They can't take a holiday. They need to maintain everything.
When you're a sole trader and you start out in business, you wear every hat. From cleaning, you're your cleaner, you're your bookkeeper, you're your receptionist, you're everything. Okay? And just to be able to you have to really realise for yourself that you can't do everything, because you just hit the wall and you crash. So something out of those 10 balls that you have up in the air has got to go by. And 90% of the time it'll come in that, and I mean, I've grown where business is concerned. The first thing that started my business off and did me well was Yellow Pages, okay? Another story that makes me laugh a lot, when we're in when we're working together, I'd use some liniment on a chap on some muscles in an areas that were pretty delicate, close to delicate areas. We don't go near delicate areas. Anyway, he went to arrange himself in his underwear. And he put some of this stuff on. Anyway, it's Asian. What's going on? And I went and knocked on the door, and I come in.
And he was on fire.
He said, oh my God, Sandy. He said, I never went anywhere near it. He said, no. It's burning, it's hurting. And he goes, I'm going to go out to the back of my truck and run water all over it. I said, water ain't going to make any difference. I said, here's the oil bottle. I said, I'm not going to do it for you. Here's the oil bottle. You take it.
Dilute it.
And he did. He diluted it and took care of it. And that type of thing. This poor bugger had to come out into a reception area full of females. And he was as red as the poor bugger. He had to do the walk of shame.
Oh, dear.
So he came out, did it, paid his bill, And I haven't seen him since.
He probably doesn't want to see you again. Oh, no.
What do I want from Ripple Media going on is to keep the consistency of what's coming through, to allow us to work at a budget that's conceivable. And if we need to do, I don't know what type of content I'll bring to next, but we'll look at it and go from those points. But I thought coming home I thought 2 years, okay, I'm going to be winding myself back.
Yeah. But now you've just found your niche.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm really comfortable.
Isn't that wonderful?
What do you see Aroma Touch doing in the future?
Oh, no, but it's just learning different techniques. And then there was another one that I looked at, and it was working with muscles that were around people's knees and that. And I'm working with an older lady at the moment who I've helped with her knee replacement surgery. Oh, would be 7 or 8 years ago. But working with the scar tissue and more, and from that coming home, there's a lady that had hurt herself when she was on holidays in Europe.
Okay.
And that was maybe 2 years ago. And I haven't seen her for a period. And then she come back, she goes, oh, Sandy, this is there. And just adding that technique, this poor woman, I pulverised her quad muscle yesterday. And this is where I was saying that other professions don't look at a whole.
No.
They look at a segment of what they do.
Yeah. As far as I know, you're like the only person who does Finch therapy into pounds.
Yeah. And, look, I can go on and you can say this testimonial from that someone and this one's there from this one.
Yeah.
But it's having somebody who's willing to listen and be observant enough to look at you, because you don't even know you've got a problem.
No.
Okay, until that starts to ache up and play up.
What your business was in the beginning is completely different to what it is now.
I have gone full circle.
Yeah.
I started out as a sole trader and I worked 12 months by myself, okay? And then I started to employ people. But what it did is it taught me different things. You've got to look at every crisis that goes on and how you become a phoenix and you rise from the ashes.
Yeah.
And those types of stuff. So, I'm very happy where I am and that type of stuff. And very happy to continue with using Ripple Media because you build a relationship.
Yeah.
You learn to grow from that relationship and the strengths that go from there. And to stand back and see how you guys have grown.
Yeah.
You started out with just you and your brother and then your mum come along. And how many teams have you got working for you now?
I've got about 10 different contractors working with us.
Yeah, that's the different thing. And they're different aspects of looking at perception and looking at other content that's been done gives it a different perception.
Absolutely. We love that. We love that we use different contracted video editors. They're all very much a part of our team, but they're independent in that they have creative freedom.
Yeah.
And they all have different abilities and creativity.
Yeah, because everyone's different. It's like every therapist is different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's learning to build on the strengths of people.
I love that.
Yeah.
So good, Sandy.
Cool.
Thanks so much for sharing all of your story with us and for your time today.
No problems at all.
You've got things to do.
I have got things to do.
Thanks so much.